I'd like to tell you a little story. Some years ago, I went to a show on London South Bank called Circa. It's an acrobatic show, and these athletes were doing the most extraordinary things, balancing on one arm, doing jumps on stilts. I mean, incredible stuff. I'm sure you've been to a circus. I'm sure you've seen acrobats perform. If not, you really should do. But this particular show, sitting there in the audience, close to the front row, I had a really clear view of the action. And what I could see that stood out for me, and hear me out on this, is that despite these people doing the most extraordinary things, their bodies varied quite a bit. You know, some were tall, some were short, some were incredibly cut, so there was lots of muscular definition, and others less so, but they were all incredibly strong. All of them able to do all the stunts and all the tricks, literally carrying the body weight of another, perhaps larger athlete on their shoulders whilst they were standing on one leg. You get the picture. But what stood out for me is what these guys value is performance over perfection. None of them were striving to get cut abdominals, huge bulging quadricep muscles. They were only focused on, can I perform these stunts safely and with some degree of longevity? I can't just do it for a night. I can do this same show twice a day, 10 times a week. And that I thought was really interesting, because I wonder how much we, as if you like, agile business athletes, value performance over perfection. Are we chasing this notion of perfection in that we need to do everything? We need to look a certain way. We need to perform a certain way. Or are we just focused on doing what we can achieve with our bodies, for example, on delivering something that is good enough, or on making ourselves happy in many ways and not worrying so much about external validation? I think if we were able to make that mind shift into really focusing on performance, not perfection, life could be significantly better for ourselves. So I invite you to look at that in your own life. If you like, take the Circa analogy. Are you looking for a chiseled appearance, or are you just focusing on where that body can take you, the journey it can take you on, the experiences you can have with it, the connection you can form? Or are you focused on maybe the aesthetics? So you can apply that to any aspect of life, to physical training, to your work, to the connection you have in your social environments, to the hobbies that you do. You can apply it to absolutely everything, because one thing I do know about high achieving people, we do tend to get very caught up in this notion of perfectionism, and I think it can be a bit of a hiding to nothing and take you down that route to burnout. One of the commonalities of people who have burnout is that they very often describe themselves as perfectionists. Let's call ourselves performancists, if you like, and focus on what we can do with our minds and our bodies, and not so much what they look like.